Everyone has heard of BTS by now, except for hermits living in the desert. As of 2021, the 7-member South Korean boy band, composed of RM, Jin, Jimin, V, J-Hope, Suga, and Jungkook, is the most popular band on Earth. BTS has basically become the Beatles of the 21st century, once they became the first band since the Beatles to have 3 #1 hits on the US Billboard Hot 100 in less than a year. BTS has had the most success in America for a K-pop act ever by a wide margin, and has paved the way for future K-pop acts and Korean artists to find future success in the US. Though it may seem like BTS is a new band and became an international sensation overnight, this is not the case. When BTS debuted in 2013, they were an underdog hip-hop group. BTS looked and sounded drastically different when they debuted, and has kept changing their image and musical style throughout BTS's so far 8-year career. Because BTS sounds like a horrible disease, I will refer to each of the BTS eras as variants. First, let's discuss the meaning of the name. BTS does not stand for ball trauma syndrome, behind the scene, or boy toy syndrome. Instead, BTS stands for Bangtansonya-dan, which translates to Bulletproof Boy Scouts. They don't look very bulletproof now, do they? Recently, BTS also officially stands for Beyond the Scene, as part of a rebranding. Now, on to the variants. The Gangster Variant is the first BTS variant, and because the band only had a very small following in South Korea at the time of their debut, the Gangster Variant isn't deadly. The variant began when BTS debuted with mini-album Too Cool for School, which was comprised of 2 lead singles, No More Dream, and We Are Bulletproof Part 2. Too Cool for School only sold 24,000 copies in its first year. The Gangster Variant is best described as 7 guys wearing old-school hip-hop outfits, with backwards hats and gold chains. And by the way, constantly backflipping all over the place and exposing their abs, plus aggressive vocals and visuals. During this variant, BTS began the School Trilogy, which BTS would finish when the next variant began. The Gangster Variant was short and lasted until 2014 when the Hard Rock Variant replaced it. BTS moved away from the old-school hip-hop look and sound with the release of the mini-album School Love Affair in 2014. The variant, Hard Rock, was still masculine, but BTS was doing less backflips and ab exposure. The band was still unpopular, gold chains or not. Commercially, BTS was doing better than they had been doing in 2013, with School Love Affair marking their first appearance on the Billboard World Albums chart at number 12 and selling 26,000 copies. It was also during this variant that BTS's first studio album, Dark and Wild, was released. The Hard Rock variant still wasn't deadly, but it was deadlier than the Gangster variant. It was about to get worse when BTS stopped being masculine and the theme switched from rebellious teenagers to young adults. The new variant will be the Youth variant. On my mom's opinion of BTS's alpha years, it was better for their masculinity. It certainly was. The Youth variant was an even bigger change than the Gangster variant was to the Hard Rock variant. The new deadlier variant began in 2015 with the release of mini-album The Most Beautiful Moment in Life. Thanks to the album's lead single, I Need You, which was actually popular in South Korea, BTS had finally become mainstream after 2 years of hard work. BTS were no longer underdogs because the band had reinvented itself and started off fresh with much softer visuals and sound. The Most Beautiful Moment in Life mini-album was the only K-pop album included on Fuse's Best Albums of 2015 so far list. The Youth variant was so different it was like another band. The album cover for The Most Beautiful Moment in Life depicted a white background with pink hearts and the title layered on top. This album was the first addition to the 3-part official BTS Youth Trilogy. It seemed that because of the absence of the Bulletproof Vest logo, which BTS had been using since their debut, they had ditched it. The second addition to the Youth Trilogy would be the 2015 mini-album The Most Beautiful Moment in Life Part 2. with the cover including the bulletproof vest logo. BTS would ditch the bulletproof vest logo a few years later in 2017. The first addition to the Youth Trilogy was definitely on the happy side, but the Most Beautiful Moment in Life Part 2 was on the sad side for sure. The new mini-album was another success for BTS and included lead single Run. The third and final addition to the Youth Trilogy was The Most Beautiful Moment in Life Young Forever, which was a compilation album made up of songs from the first and second editions to the Youth Trilogy. The compilation album, released in May of 2016, included songs from both previous albums to balance the happiness of the first edition in the trilogy with the sadness in the second edition of the trilogy. That same year, BTS held tour 2016 BTS Live, The Most Beautiful Moment in Life on Stage Epilogue, and released Japanese studio album Youth, which sold over 44,000 copies on its first day of release and peaked at #1 in Japan. After the Youth Trilogy, BTS was about to take a darker aesthetic in October 2016. The new aesthetic came with a new studio album Wings, which was heavily inspired by old Korean literature. I think the look is different enough to deserve its own variant emo. The aesthetic is hard to describe, but it's pretty emo, so I'll go with that. This look is very unique and, in my opinion, variant emo fitted BTS the best. The Wings album was even more popular than the Most Beautiful Moment in Life album and did better in sales, with Wings selling 500,000 copies in its first week, compared to the Most Beautiful Moment in Life selling 500,000 copies in its lifetime. The lead single in the Wings album is Blood, Sweat, and Tears, which was a top 10 hit in South Korea, peaking at #8. The music video for Blood, Sweat, and Tears broke the record on YouTube for the highest amount of views for a K-pop group music video in 24 hours, getting 5,850,104 views in the first 24-hour period. Wings got them the Artist of the Year award from the Mnet Asian Music Awards, making BTS the first artist ever to receive the award not from the big 3 South Korean entertainment companies, SM Entertainment, JYP Entertainment, and YG Entertainment. The Wings album was also BTS's first million-seller album, selling a combined 1.8 million copies worldwide and becoming the best-selling album of 2016 in South Korea.
Oh, look at the graphics on that! Look at the graphics on that game!
So in a nutshell, Wings was not only a success for BTS, but was big in South Korea overall. But BTS weren't done yet. BTS were about to become even more popular, not only in South Korea, but this time internationally, which would serve as BTS's staircase to becoming a household name all around the world, including in the US. If you think that the youth variant and even more the emo variant were beta, you are wrong, very wrong. Because this next variant was much worse, and actually deserves to be called beta. Let the current and deadly variant beta begin. The beta variant began on September 18th, 2017, with the release of mini-album Love Yourself Her. The mini-album was also the beginning of the Love Yourself trilogy, which began around the time when the term self-love started trending, including in the US. The mini-album included popular BTS songs such as DNA. When the beta variant began, BTS's sound became even softer and their vocals higher pitched. BTS had adopted the pretty boy aesthetic, a very popular K-pop aesthetic which focuses on soft masculinity. Colorful hair, flawless soft skin, and outfits ranging from soft and calm to sparkly and bright are all part of the pretty boy aesthetic. Since it's popular, a lot of girls must dig it. Somehow. I'm not sure how or why, but they do, I guess. On November 1st, 2017, BTS got political when they launched an anti-violence campaign titled and stylized as Love Myself, in partnership with the Korean and Japanese committee of UNICEF. BTS has been ambassadors of UNICEF ever since. The second addition to the Love Yourself trilogy came on May 18th, 2018, with Love Yourself Tear. As indicated by the name, the mini-album was sad, especially when compared to the hopefulness of Love Yourself Her. The mini-album included lead single Fake Love and even collaborated with Steve Aoki for the track The Truth Untold. The Love Yourself trilogy came to an end when compilation album featuring tracks from the past two mini-albums, Love Yourself Answer, was released on August 24th, 2018. One day later, BTS embarked on the Love Yourself World Tour, which was later lengthened with a world tour extension titled Love Yourself, Speak Yourself on February 19th, 2019. BTS made history on September 24th, 2018, when they became the first K-pop band to address the UN. BTS's leader RM, the only member known to be fluent in English, delivered the speech around leaders from across the world. The message was simple: speak yourself. So 2018 was a big year for BTS. During 2018, BTS shattered records, won awards, and even broke records that they themselves had set. When 2019 came, so did a hit single. What happens when you merge pop star Halsey with BTS? You get Boy With Love feat. Halsey, one of the biggest songs of 2019. Mini-album Map of the Soul Persona was also released in 2019, which would be followed up by studio album Map of the Soul 7 in February of 2020 and the Map of the Soul World Tour. Well, if COVID didn't postpone the Map of the Soul World Tour and then very recently cancel it altogether. BTS were already superstars in South Korea, Japan, and other parts of Asia by this point, but BTS had not yet conquered one thing: the United States. With the biggest music industry in the world and a massive audience entertained, conquering the US music industry and competing against their biggest stars will be the final step for BTS to achieve worldwide stardom and become a household name in the US. Proof that they had successfully competed against the United States' biggest stars and ultimately won would be topping the US Billboard Hot 100 and staying there. BTS decided to do exactly that with their first all-English song called Dynamite. Released in August of 2020 during the whole COVID mess,
Coronavirus! Coronavirus!
Dynamite wasn't about the pandemic, but the band said they hoped the bright song gave people more hope during COVID. BTS had damaged their so-called language barrier, because the theory is that most Americans and other non-Koreans who probably don't know one word of Korean and therefore wouldn't listen to BTS's music. Dynamite debuted at number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100, and stayed there for weeks. Following Dynamite, 3 more BTS singles would top the US Billboard Hot 100, with Life Goes On being the only single out of the 3 to not be fully in English. BTS also released B, their 5th studio album, on the same date when Life Goes On was released. Even though BTS's chart topper single Permission to Dance was a hit, BTS became a household name and made history with Dynamite when BTS became the first K-pop artist to be nominated to Grammy. BTS's full English single Butter, released in 2021, was the chart-topping and record-shattering single that replaced Dynamite on the Hot 100 that was the most successful for BTS. Butter not only stayed on top of the Hot 100 for weeks, but recently climbed back up the chart to the top spot. Has anyone realized the irony about Permission to Dance and the music video that goes along with it? The song is about recovery from the pandemic, and in the music video everyone just takes their masks off. Until Delta came and totally made Permission to Dance less happy and just plain sad. Throughout BTS's 8 years, they have gone through many variants and musical styles, and as the years progressed, BTS became more and more popular. I find it interesting, and perhaps a bit concerning, that BTS became more and more popular as their aesthetic became softer and softer throughout the band's career. BTS has separated themselves from other K-pop bands since the time of their debut by being political since the beginning of their career and not just focusing on and singing about girls, but also about loneliness and happiness. BTS collaborated with Western artists such as Nicki Minaj for song Idol, which other groups would copy, such as when K-pop band Blackpink collaborated with Selena Gomez for single Ice Cream. It wasn't easy to become global superstars. BTS went through a lot of ups and downs and even at one point almost disbanded. Currently, BTS is the most popular band in the world, with over 40 million fans, also known as ARMY, following BTS. That means that over 40 million people have caught a BTS variant. Has BTS reached their max popularity? What do you think of BTS releasing all English songs? Comment below your opinion on BTS, and thanks for watching. Bye-bye now.